do this while I'm still awake.
Yeah, man, I can dig it, man. We'll make it a quick one tonight, man.
Oh, man, I'm Jared, by the way.
I'm Josh. Good to be here, brother.
Heck yeah, man. And we had to watch the Hardys documentary after the pay-per-view tonight just to have something to talk, worthwhile to talk about.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
If you're out there, considering when this is being recorded, you know, whether you may not be watching it, it's Father's Day, so
Yeah, it is.
good Father's Day to everybody out there. And one of the things I did today has nothing to do with Father's Day, so you can forget that.
Forget that.
But,
Moving along.
yeah, we got to get this show started.
For real.
That's another Kevin Pollock joke I'm stealing. It's like no, it's a Greg Proops joke I steal. It's like 20 minutes into every podcast, we got to get this show started.
That's awesome.
An hour into it, we haven't started the show.
Jackie Cation does that with all of her plugs at the beginning, and she's really good at it. But it's like, man, it takes forever, and it's like, all right, when are we gonna start this thing?
I finally went out and I didn't do a video of it because I got sick of everybody doing their YouTube videos in March of my last ToysRUs trip. What am I going to do? But I wanted to bring it up because it's one of the things I don't think that we've talked about and discussed, the ToysRUs going away. But the thing about it was people were filming these in March, going into their last ToysRUs trip. It's like, it's March, they're still trying to sell Christmas ornaments, and you're wondering why they're going out of business.
Yeah.
But what do you have any thoughts on that?
No, having worked there, that ruins the whole thing.
Well, yeah, I figured that would make it kind of a...
Yeah, the store is great, and I worked with a lot of really awesome people at ToysRUs, but as far as, that was where, I'm pretty sure ToysRUs is where I was working. No, it would have been Blockbuster, sorry. My entire ToysRUs career was post 9/11, and if you've worked retail pre and or post 9/11, maybe if you haven't done both,
different worlds.
If you work retail pre 9/11 and post, you understand some of the stuff that I'm talking about, man. Because the way that people basically started stealing wages, and basically it's when the entire world was like, okay, the shift requirement has always been 4 people. We'll do it with 2, and that's just, I mean, it's literally the reason. It's to this day why when you go to Walmart...
Screw security and safety.
No one cares about that. It's why to this day when you go to Walmart, you can get great value anything. But they will be out of anything, name brand thing, anything that you like Crystal Springs water is the one. I mean, they are constantly out of Crystal Springs water. And I don't need it. I mean, there's plenty of other stuff to get, but it's just a perfect example of like you have a stocking of a grocery store, and there's a certain number of people that should do it. Divide that in half, and probably at Walmart take at least 2 more people out of that, as long as it's not just 2. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. I got way afield there, man. I have not been to my last ToysRUs yet because I'm pretty much think I have.
It's pretty much done.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that was kind of annoying watching some of these people videos. Is still a fully stocked store. Stuff was like 20% off. Like, they're not desperate enough yet.
Yeah.
It's pretty much over with now, from what I could tell.
Yeah, they're selling the fixtures this time.
Yeah,
like Blockbuster did. Another place I used to work. I'm the kiss of death, baby.
It's to the point now where sections of the store are roped off that you can't go.
No.
Okay, well, this is a good sign of, it's pretty much done after the next week or 2. And I guess the thing that surprised me is I just kept thinking that if not one, a few toy companies will come in and say, no, it's good for us for this company to be here. If it kills us, we need to try to prop these guys up and help them stick around. Or maybe it's a play for them to kind of, let's wait and pick the bones, and then we'll have Mattel stores. So then that might be, because the rumors were out there about the guy that owns the Bratz brand or created the Bratz company or whatever was trying to buy it. There's rumors that there's still going to be ToysRUs stores in Canada. And don't help me, don't live in Canada, don't want to live in Canada.
ToysRUs.
So it's a long drive for some elites. Ain't making that drive. But nonetheless, it still surprised me that the toy companies would just be like, well, we'll just see how this goes, because supposedly this is like 35% of Mattel's sales were through ToysRUs. Like that's huge, and it just surprised me that more companies wouldn't have made an effort to be like, is there anything we can do to try to, but the long and short of their company problems started years ago. They saw this stupid ass deal with some company that where they were paying way too much to stay out of bankruptcy.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, because that's as far as the toy companies bailing them out. I think they've been doing that for probably a decade, maybe a decade and a half, and it's just like, enough is enough, guys. No chance. Because it really, like you said, man, when I don't remember the details of it because I didn't pay attention because I was young and did not care. All I knew is that, man, this company sucks, because it did. It's the second worst company I've ever worked for, because the thing with ToysRUs that frustrated me, and this is years ago, but literally every person that I ever worked with, once you've worked 5 years, you're vested in the company and you're a stock owner. Guess how many people I saw make it to 5 years?
That won't happen.
Same number I saw make it to 4.
Yeah.
0. And it's just like, it's so obvious what you're doing. That's another, I know that at least it's another post 9/11 tactic where there's no such thing as retirement anymore, baby. And it started before that. Yeah. But this ramps it. Ooh, got to tighten belts, guys. Got to tighten belts.
There's not even companies that even offer the fully vested.
Oh, not anymore. Oh,
you're not going to make it if they do.
No. That's what I thought with Toys R Us. I'm like, well, that's a kiss of death right there. They're telling you point blank, you got 4 years and you're done.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Mm-hmm. Part of that was...
They can do you like they did me and half the people I know, which is where they basically get rid of you after 3 and then hire you back because your clock starts over.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, whatever, man.
It's that's signs of a company that's not going to be around anymore. And so who knows what's liable to happen? Maybe
Lionel Playworld, baby,
coming back.
Del Taco came back. Who knows?
They came back. There's supposedly a company that didn't come in and buy KB Toys at the end, but they came in and bought the name. And that's why this Christmas in a lot of malls you're going to see KB Toys back and the little Express stuff. And even the Toys R Us tried that around here. They had a little Toys R Us Express. Problem was, there was like literally the mall in our town, there's a Toys R Us right next door, so it really didn't help a whole lot. I mean, the stuff is still overpriced, in the mall. So it's like, whatever. There wasn't anything I couldn't find right up the street. So
at their other location, 4 minutes from here.
With a company like KB coming back, at least that gives you an idea. Like, well, maybe they might have something, that.
Billy Corgan by KB.
I hope so.
Billy Corgan bought KB for the name rights.
Yes.
People recognize this. It'll be good.
This is a proven entity.
It's a wise investment, my friends.
There you have it.
That's right.
And I guess toys were on my mind this week because I'm still going Netflix documentary crazy, and I watched the Pop vinyl documentary. The Funko Pop people, I guess I should say, to make it more specific. It's not that hard to find. Google it, and it's good. It's fun. I was a late comer to the Pop vinyl figures. Didn't like them for a long time, and recently started getting some here and there. But the fun part about the documentary, it's fun to watch because it's good up until a point. There's a point in the documentary where basically you watch it up until the guy that started the company sells it. Then he's kind of like, okay, well now I'm done, because it runs a little long, and you get to where, like, how many of carbon copy identical stories do you have to sit through? It's a solid, like, I would say 15, but it's probably closer to 20 on the end where you're kind of like,
then we got the license for DuckTales. Then we got the license for Thundercats. Then we got the license for The Incredibles. Then we got the license for... It's 25 minutes of that.
The 20 minutes on the end crap is, what celebrity can we sit down and talk to?
Oh, God.
And this girl gets to go sit down and sing old spirituals with Nichelle Williams, and you're kind of like, Nichelle Nichols, I mean. So you're kind of like, is this a Star Trek or is it Funko? I mean, what is it?
Why am I still watching this?
And of course, Zack Ryder has to show up and show off some of his stuff. You're like, man, still don't care, man. I don't care. But it's great up until one of the things about the company that I didn't realize is the name Funko and the way the old Wacky Wobbler stuff looked back in the day. I just assumed this company was around since like 1920 or the 40s, and that's not the case. It started way later than that.
Funko's still available.
Yeah. I just had them picturing like the Lego guys. Like, our first toy was wooden duck, and then we built into wooden block, and that it didn't have, was it stackable? It would fall over.
It was not good.
We built a company.
The distribution.
And then we destroy and build.
The distribution was terrible. We had all these records, but they had no hole in them.
Oh, you put a hole in there, you would have yourself a good time.
Have a good time.
But
That's our weekly Mighty Win reference. And you were willing to, you teetered uncontrollably on the spindle. You poke a hole in it, you have yourself a good time.
It's a good one to sit down and watch. But the guy that started the company you can just tell just all about it, and this was his life, and you can just kind of tell, especially once they start getting into the San Diego stuff and doing that. He's kind of like, man, this is really starting to feel like work.
Yeah.
This is the last thing I want to do with starting a company was work. So it hadn't, and that's kind of a sad thing. It's like it's like just having to get out of this. It was either this or sell the company or just be miserable and die.
So
and
there's a 10
I'm looking to do
There's
that.
a 10-minute segment in the documentary where he's walking around San Diego with a sign. How much you give me?
Hey.
I got something to sell to you. What out?
Want an exclusive? So that one's worth tracking down and watching.
Awesome.
About 20 minutes till the end and just find something else.
Bye-bye.
You can go watch Takeover from last night and you'll have yourself a good time.
You'll have yourself a good time.
Have yourself a good time, brother. Because tonight it wasn't very good.
Yeah, it was. I agree.
And it's one of those shows. I think everybody's just going in. It feels like such a long time since the last show. You're kind of like, you'd think you'd be more excited about Money in the Bank and the matches, and you're kind of like, no, I'm still just gonna be some bull mess.
Yeah, gimmick stuff. We've discussed this many times. Gimmick stuff is just not my thing. Like even, AJ and Shinsuke, which this is the first of their matches I've seen in WWE, and it was real good. I liked it. It's not their fault. Money in the Bank. Last Man Standing is just not my thing.
Yeah.
Finish was cool. Match was real cool. I mean, they're awesome. So they did good. It's just, all right, that's cool. It's not their fault. I just don't like gimmicky stuff, and we've discussed that many times. I hate that you have an entire pay-per-view called Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. You should save that for something real, real cool, man.
Yep. Just let it. I don't know. Just it being scheduled like on the calendar every year, knowing it's going to happen, to kind of, I think, take kind of the fun out of Money in the Bank and Hell in the Cell. And,
yeah, I thought the same thing about Money in the Bank at WrestleMania every year. It's like, do it every year, man. But Hell in the Cell is way worse. But like Hell in the Cell, I think that it shows you that what you're saying is true. When you schedule and they're not as special, when you do more than one on a show, they're awful. The women's match was really good. The dude's match wasn't. It's just that was it. I mean, there were a couple of cool things in it, mainly because most of the people in it I think are pretty cool. But the women's match had some neat stuff in it. But they went first, and it's like, uh-oh. It kind of didn't clean the idea bank. It's just like, well, how are you going to top that? How are you going to top this?
Yeah. It kind of feels like they kind of tipped their hat to what was going on by how the matches were scheduled, because when the women's match happened and Alexa won, you're kind of like, okay, well, if Ronda isn't going to last and she's cashing in?
We
this is how it's going to go.
We were discussing that before the show started. Actually, it was like, okay, what are they doing last here? And it's like, well, if Ronda's winning, she's going on last.
Yeah.
So when they said that her and Nia are coming out, it's like,
kind of tips towards the cash in.
Yeah, it's just like, well, okay. And Jared's right. Jared's like, they're probably going to have Alexa come in, which makes total sense, especially for her not to go on last. But my only issue with, well, y'all know my main issue with it. If you've seen the show before, you know my main issue with it. But it's just, I'm very surprised if they're going to do Rousey and Alexa Bliss. That's very, very surprising to me. They would get to that. It would not surprise me for them to book a three-way and you get basically the bulk of the work out of Rousey and Nia and Alexa. But at the same time, you know, I mean, I know I kill her all the time, but what can I say? She deserves it. If y'all watch that match tonight, yikes. She laid on the floor for the entire time, did 3 moves of offense and fell off the ladder twice, and won, and everybody popped and went crazy. I guess there's no accounting for taste. But Charlotte was Charlotte, even slow and injured. She's still very impressive. This is me, but I'm going to say...
Still thought Sasha was going to kill herself on the way to the ring.
Sasha Banks, we were so concerned with because she's such a bump machine and doesn't know how to do it safely. And she's walking down and does the little hip thing and then gets to the ladder and does this little like man,
step.
It's like, dude, being on the ramp with a ladder is going to get you hurt. We were concerned. I was glad she survived.
I don't know about that, dude.
I don't know about that, boy. We were glad that she survived. I thought that Becky Lynch's 1957 lady wrestler outfit was real cool. I missed the old one, but let me rephrase that. I love the t-shirt and the shorts. That's my favorite. But Becky's always changing her look up so much that I love that. Because one of these days I'm going to come in here with none of this because I have this weird sensitivity to shaving my hair off now in these days. But I hate having hair. So one of these days I'm going to come change it up. But as someone that likes to change their look up a lot, I think it's cool that Becky Lynch doesn't get pinned down and keeps moving. And she was great, and I thought it was cool that the crowd were so into her. Tell me she's not female Rusev. I mean, every time she does anything, people go crazy. Every time Rusev does anything, even Rusev doesn't have to do nothing. If Aiden English shows up, people go crazy. Anyway, that match I thought was real cool. I thought that everybody, with the exception of the girl that won it, really showed out and did good stuff. But Alexa Bliss didn't do anything because she never does.
Good.
That was the most shocking and pleasantly surprising thing about it, is that Lana really worked her rear end off. She really worked, took some crazy bumps, and I mean, maybe not crazy, but for her, I mean, she's not a wrestler, man. She did some work, man, made people look strong, and it was like, I thought she did real good. I was impressed too.
The way the match was going, and if you're going to do somebody to carry the briefcase longer than the night, I was like, man, Ember Moon's winning this thing. But then, considering who won's like, okay, well, this makes more sense to have her just cash in.
They really not swerve is not the right word because people overuse that, but they did a good job, I thought, in that Ember was kind of the house cleaner in the first one. And we've talked about it before. I do think that as far as women's wrestlers in America go, because I don't know any Japanese women's wrestlers, but I know, well, I have some, but not a ton of them. But it's different, so we're just drawing a line. As far as the women that work in this country, in my opinion, Charlotte Flair is her own universe. And then everybody else is just satellites. And I think Becky's really good, and I love her. And I think Bayley is still tragically, shockingly underrated, and I love her. Poor Sasha's going to kill herself. And I've seen her do good things, but it's usually when she's on point and doing the offense. She scares the crap out of me when she's like, no, man, I want to do... No, let me do that. And I mean, I get it, but I get it, but I hate it for her.
You weigh 50 pounds.
It's very scary. She scares the crap out of me. But yes, Lana was the one that impressed me the most as far as expectations and delivery. Holy crap. Ember Moon, though, you mentioned Ember Moon. The thing about Ember is that, and maybe it's just, she might not be younger than any of them. Ember might have been around longer than anybody and just came through NXT last. But because of that, with the NXT rub, she feels younger than the rest of them, more like a rookie. And man, I have never seen. I was telling Jared this earlier.
I've seen a great deal younger, but I think she's pretty much younger.
I think so too, because they would have found her earlier. Just logic, but that might not be right. But I'm with you. I think that she's a bit younger than the rest of them. But I have seen Alexa Bliss have exactly one match I thought was good. That was it. I have never seen Ember Moon have anything I thought was less than very good. She is awesome, man. Just totally awesome. Really just very believable in the offense, very believable in the defense. Naomi is fantastic and will always be underrated. And
she did a split on the ladder.
That was awesome.
I was like, why would you do that even if you could?
It was awesome. Like, I think I can do this. Oh, I think we don't want you to.
So why?
But it was, man, she's cool. She's very, very cool. But I like that match because I literally had one person in it that I don't care for. And yes, I knew she was going to win because she's Vince's girlfriend and all the dudes in the audience love her to little pieces. But if you want to know where your revenue on women's wrestling went, that's where it went. Because in NXT, you were booking 90s WCW style for very, very young girls and young teenage girls to watch and be like, Bailey's cool, Becky's cool, Sasha's the boss, she's awesome. Wow, and that's what you got away from. Because as soon as they get to the main roster, it's Vince and Kevin Dunn and the boys want to see his shorts. Oh, like the bliff wham. That's what happened. And I know I'm right. And it makes it so much worse to see Lana, the wife of Rusev, the valet of Rusev, putting that time in and getting so much better. And you could have had that with Alexa if you'd put her in there with Mickie James earlier, because that was the great match she had. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And tonight really wasn't her fault. I mean, geez, if they book you to be John Cena to just lay in the floor, come in, hit your finish, and win, that's what they booked you to do.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, y'all got to give her a little more offense. I wish they would have booked her a little bit more offense, just something a little more believable, or something more treacherous to get rid of the last competitor. I mean, for God's sake, we want everyone to be heels now. Give her something heelish to do. Because the real heel thing, and this is, I tell Jared all the time, it's what drives me crazy about people saying, well, The Miz is the best heel in the business. No, Miz isn't the best heel on WWE's payroll. That would be Tommaso Ciampa. Mm-hmm. The best heel in the world is, Dusty Rhodes, Cody Rhodes. And the reason is because, oh man, Cody, you suck at the WWE. You're too cool for that. You're on the indie scene now. And what's the first thing he does? Yeah, I'm going to book matches against Kenny Omega, and I'm going to beat him too. And so now even people in the Bullet Club family that love him, even people that love the Bullet Club hate him. Because as soon as he does the little Terminator thing, no matter what city, anywhere on this earth, they boo the bejesus out of him. And it's like, man, that kid is real smart. That's very cool. I've got way afield. Sorry, man. But, I can't even remember. Was it 8? I don't remember if the women's match was 6, 7, or 8 people. I don't remember because I'm an idiot.
It was 8 in each of them. It was four from each show.
You know what's messing me up is the graphic with all 3 guys from the New Day.
Yeah,
because
the 27 people in the men's match.
The men's match looked like the second greatest Royal Rumble of all time or whatever. But that's the deal. Is I thought 7 of them performed very well. 6 of them performed the way I expect them to, and I really enjoyed it. 1 of them blew me away, and 1 of them did the same stuff she always does, including win. But it does surprise me that they're going with her. And again, her and
when Road Dogg came down in the Royal Rumble and hugged the bottom rope for damn near the whole match, you were like, hey, that's thinking. That's a good idea. But it didn't work in the end. That's why. But when somebody just coming down and laying there, and she didn't feel like she beat anybody.
It didn't do anything. Generated no offense. Did nothing. You don't remember anything. And that's the deal. That's the problem with champs in WWE, because we just described John Cena's entire career in multi-matches, and we described Roman Reigns' career in solos.
Yeah.
It's just rest holds and hit your spear. That's it. It's boring. I hate that stuff. But the other thing that frustrates me is the short-sightedness of having her come out and beat on Nia Jax with a briefcase and beat on Ronda Rousey with a briefcase, and then you go in the ring and you beat the black girl that you made fun of for being a fat black girl. It's like, y'all got that one right at WrestleMania. You finally washed away the Lex Luger did get beat by Ron Simmons, but the Triple H beating Booker T at WrestleMania 19, boy, that was stanky.
Yeah.
Stanky. You managed to wash that and Piggy James away, and you put them in one storyline, and you had the girl who was the butt of the joke win, and now you have it undone. And I mean, you have to leave it that way forever. But you haven't made Nia enough of a heel, and B, if you want Alexa to be the good guy now, make her the good guy now. Which we've talked about this before, man. It drives me crazy that people still think that the boo yay scale is heels and faces, or excuse me, heels and faces. Sorry, I said it right. The reality is simply this. If you want to see that person win, that's the babyface. Yes, The Miz is a babyface, guys. He is. I'm sorry. Oh, no, he cuts those promos and he's such a smart aleck. It's been 2 decades since that was a heel thing. Or it's just not like that. Stone Cold Steve Austin. You think Stone Cold Steve Austin was a heel because he cursed in his promos and drank a little beer? Drink a beer to the working man. Come on, man. He's the biggest face in the history of the company. And it's because you paid money to see him win. Mm-hmm. People love Alexa Bliss. People love... I just said his name, Miz. That's how it is, man. Yeah. That's how it is. If you're paying to see him win, they're the good guy. I don't care what they say.
Yeah.
I got totally sidetracked.
That's why Roman's already a heel.
I completely agree. He damn sure ain't a babyface because little kids pay money to see him win. That's the thing that people have to understand. Roman Reigns, in a lot of ways, is the new Star Wars movies. We've talked about it off camera. We'll talk about it here now. If you want to know the difference between the box office of Last Jedi and Solo, it's very simple. Well, Last Jedi was so bad, people are boycotting Solo. Really? Did you see it? Well, yeah. Okay, but you don't like The Last Jedi. Talk to the kids that love The Last Jedi and ask them if they saw Solo. I guarantee you the answer is no. And that's the difference. It's not ours anymore. I'm 38 years old. I love Star Wars. I've loved it my entire life. But it is not for me anymore. Nope. Solo is for me, and they'll be more than happy to make $25 million off of people like me. But as far as pushing the box office and being the target demographic, I'm sorry, you lose your target. As a guy, you lose your target demographic status the day you turn 22. They ain't making stuff for me no more. Every dime they make from anybody that's not in the Star Wars 7, 8, and 9 target audience is bonus. That's it. And the kids don't care about Han Solo. They saw Kylo Ren's dad die. They don't care about watching Kylo Ren's dad alive. Yep. Sorry. Simple as that, man.
Yep.
And now we have to double down because we got to do Kenobi and Darth Maul movies, and it's like, if you say so.
Okay, well, I might be done myself.
Yeah, all the in-between stuff is like whatever.
Okay, I'm done. That's pretty much the deal with the show. Just kind of like, man, just it's hard to get excited for it. And then when you get what you got, it's like, well, at least there's a Hardy Boys documentary.
The Hardy Boys documentary's coming on next.
And that was awesome. It was good. It was fun to sit down and watch. And it's kind of I was a little bit where you go with this? Where you going with this, brother?
This is gonna end for real, man.
And this on too much of a downer, but just get to TNA and just turn it off.
Yeah, for real, man.
But and I dug it. So go watch that and watch Takeover instead of Money in the Bank.
Once again, anytime we talk about it every time. Anytime NXT has a pay-per-view and WWE has a payper-view the same weekend, you know which one to watch. Yeah, I think most people know which one to watch.
You know where to go.
Absolutely, man. If you actually enjoy wrestling, you'll definitely prefer the one to the other.
I mean, that's top to bottom, and people keep waiting for that Takeover show to just totally start to finish crap on, because people were wanting that one to not be good last night, and then it kicked off, and you had Undisputed Era and the tag match. You're like, dang, that was good.
This ain't gonna be the one.
Then you had Ricochet and Velveteen come out and just tear it up. You're like, dang.
Yeah, man.
That was still good. And Shayna Baszler and Nikki Cross tore it up, and you're like, well, they can't all be good. And then freaking Aleister Black and Lars Sullivan, of all people, have a damn good match. And then they finish it with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and people were still like, Takeover still is. If you had to pick which ticket to get, that's the one you should have got.
Totally, man.
You dummy.
I think that it's a very interesting point about Aleister Black and, for Pete's sake, Lars Sullivan. Mm-hmm. And it's that Aleister Black, build and athletic style, and even his in-ring style, like the kick fighter. I mean, it's interesting that a guy with such a different, non-traditional heel or face or pro wrestler moveset, he's very different, very unusual and very different. But man, as far as getting it and understanding the mentality of what you're trying to do, how you tell the story is up to you. But the story you're trying to tell is as old as time. That's the problem with people trying to reinvent the watch, and that's the problem. It's very interesting because you get both sides of it. You get people like Jim Cornette who think that every performer is supposed to be the same. Mm-hmm. And then you get people like Vince Russo who think you got to throw everything out and start over because people want real stuff and la-di-da. And the reality is the basic tenets of this is the good guy, this is the bad guy don't really matter. What matters now, people are way more selfish than they used to be. People are way more self-centered than they used to be. So it's not about that's the good guy, that's the bad guy. It's this is the guy I'm pulling for, this is the guy I'm pulling for. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's totally okay. But man, it's very cool that somebody that unique can really, Rey Mysterio is a guy like that. AJ Styles is totally a guy like that. And those guys have nothing in common. None of the three of those guys work anything like each other. But God, they just totally seem to get, nah, man, you build and you build and you build and then you blow it off. And it's cool too, because like you said, the thing about that guy, about Alistair, is when you look at like his really excellent matches he's had recently, it's against like crazy diverse opposition. Like none of the guys have anything in common, and you're going to take a guy like Lars. I was going to say Lars Anderson. Lars, I forgot his name. Sorry.
Sullivan.
Thank you, Lars Sullivan.
Might as well be Anderson.
Yeah, and have a match like that with him. That's awesome. Oh, by the way, that's for the mixed pack challenge. We mentioned Anderson. This is on my mind. The Mixed Pack Challenge next year, man. Carl Anderson and Tessa Blanchard need to be a team, don't they?
That works.
For the love of God, Blanchard and Anderson, let's do it. Let's do it, man. I think that'd be awesome. I would die. Anyway, getting back to it. I love that guy. I think it's incredible how good that guy's. Oh, and that's something else from the show tonight, because I want to give credit where it's due. I thought Ronda Rousey's work was great. I despise Ronda Rousey. You have to understand. I didn't like her in MMA. I thought she was very propped up and fed a whole bunch of opponents. Everything that people say about Floyd Mayweather, it's actually true about her. Because unlike Floyd Mayweather, you have a main promoter who gets to handpick your opponents. So it's kind of like the original. It was basically a throwback to old UFC. It was like, man, the Gracies are the baddest guys there are. Horace Gracie killed everybody. Well, the one rule of the original UFCs was, we are the Gracie clan, and we're funding this thing, and nobody else that has ever done Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at all is allowed in this tournament, period. That's what happened. And so it's kind of the same idea where it's like, okay, Ronda, we're making you the superstar. You beat this one girl, oh man, you're my star. And then you got 10 matches of nothing, and then you got her against Holly Holm, and that was the end of that. But I was real impressed with her work tonight, man. It's very cool. I said the same thing about Shayna Baszler, except the difference, in my opinion, was that with Rousey, I'm like, well, good for you. I didn't expect it. And with Shayna Baszler, I was genuinely impressed. I liked her, man. Like, whoa, this is cool. I didn't see the Nikki Cross match, but it was when she won when she took the strap. Like, god dang, that was impressive.
I say it's not too late for them to do what everybody told them to do with Ronda from the get-go, is give her the Paul.
Oh, yeah.
And get her off that mic. Don't let her even say a word.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't let her talk in the ring.
Yeah. No, do the Brock thing. I agree totally, man. I think if you had the ex-UFC faction, it would work. We were talking about it earlier, man. I mean, Dana White has not missed one single opportunity to put CM Punk's plastered and destroyed mug all over his own advertising. And that's the punchline, is like, yeah, this is that stuff that Vince does. This is the guy that used to do that for a living. And he's fighting against guys that aren't even top tier contenders.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you put those guys with us. Meanwhile, two of the biggest names in the history of UFC have both skedaddled and are getting paid better now. So you can't really, you can't really mess up. And the thing is, I think Dana's very smart to do that, because let's be honest, CM Punk is never going to win a UFC fight. It's not going to happen. If you've seen either one of those fights and you think that guy can beat anybody, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think it's going to happen.
I sat down, I watched the fight. The next day, of course, I wasn't going to pay to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm somebody that I don't know what's going on, whether it's boxing, UFC, professional basketball. I couldn't tell you. But it's bad when I'm the guy that's sitting there and I'm watching it and I can tell, oh, this isn't going well.
Yeah, man.
This is bad.
Yeah, it was real bad.
Not good.
And so if that's the commercial for the guy that used to work there, because you're going negative. You also know you have WWE by the short ones, because your opportunity to turn the tables and be like, well, this is who used to work there, and look how they're struggling up here. You're never going to do that. You pay Brock way too much money, and you pay Ronda too much money too. So Dana White, it's very smart if that's what he's doing. It's like, man, you've got them by the short ones, man, because basically both companies are promoting for you. They are. It's like, that's kind of funky, man. Shayna Baszler too. Baszler was up there, so it's like, man, this is. Actually, I don't know if she ever fought UFC or not. I know she was MMA.
Get close.
I know she was UFC. Or, I'm sorry, I know she was MMA, but it's like, man, that's just downright sad.
And honestly, as far as Shayna goes, I think she's the one that they thought, well, we'll save her to do the Paul thing. And she's ended up, she can talk just fine. I mean, she's not great, but she's
better than Ronda.
Yeah.
Better than Ronda, man.
What about that? I know about that.
I know all about that, brother.
I know about that, dude. Yes, I think that's well. That was kind of like in the cards, and then they were like, "We need to change it. We need to change the plan."
And what we need to do is we need to dress Ronda Rousey up like she's Roddy Piper. People like Roddy.
Messed up. But anyway, I've gotten way afield and I'm talking junk, but I was really impressed with her and Nia, which I think Nia Jax is underrated as hell anyway. I've always thought Nia Jax was better than people thought.
I just think she deserved better than just be the straight up, like we said the other day, just the transitional champion.
Yeah, it's like
just kind of like that was what y'all spent all that time building her up for.
Seriously. Made her the nice good guy who finally beat up the bully, and the bully gets it right back. But I can't see that. The only outcome I can see there is a three-way in which basically Ronda and Nia kill each other, and then Alexa sneaks in and gets the win. That's it. Because
she's extreme, and I'll take them both on.
Oh yeah, I can't see Alexa Bliss beating Ronda Rousey. I mean, I know they love them some Alexa Bliss, but I just don't. I don't see that happening.
I guess that's the other thing that creaked in my head when she came out to cash in. I thought, well, maybe this will just be a tease, but ended up being legit. So now that you've, shot that load, it's kind of like, well, how do you fix that? And I don't think you will.
Yeah. Speaking of like teases and jumping shows and stuff like that, because let's be honest, it's very surprising. Because I guess that I love Charlotte Flair. I think Charlotte Flair as a performer is on a completely different level from all the rest of them. But apparently, Rick still got some clout in the company. Because if you're moving Alexa Bliss off her show to put her in competition with Ronda Rousey, that seems kind of strange to me. Because it seems to me that Ronda and Alexa are clearly the favorites. So it's very interesting. But we were talking about the possible shift of Miz winning tonight and then taking the belt off AJ Styles, which I would hate, which is exactly what it's designed for, because I am the internet independent wrestling dork kid. I love that kind of stuff, and the idea of the in-house WWE product Miz getting a win over AJ Styles sucks. But hey man, a lot of people are going to keyboards for that stuff, and that's literally all it's about. That's all it's about. They were talking, Hurricane talks about that in the Matt Hardy thing, about when Matt was putting his suicide notes on Twitter and stuff like that, and it was all like, man, why are you going to do people like that just for likes? And I'm like, have you been to 2018? Love Hurricane. I think Hurricane Helms is the man, but it's like, what for 2018, man? The retweet is the only thing that matters in the world. In the world. So it's like, man, that's silly. But I don't know what they're going to do there unless they do what we said, because I don't know. I can't see, oh, you know what? You know what they might be doing is booking one-on-one her and Ronda, because she can do that weird arm thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're going for.
Hey, Alexa, you got all of those arm pops in you? That'd be great.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man.
I just think if they do that again, because this would make the third time, is they've got to do what everybody said that it should have done when she did it the first two times, is use that as to end the match, or to at least get a break from the ref and the bell ring, and as she's walking up the ring, like, I was fine the whole time.
You got your belt, you get your count out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping that it's like, oh, Rousey broke her arm, because no one's supposed to remember anything. Speaking of which, this is what my fingers.
Ronda hasn't seen it before, so
oh, exactly.
It's gonna be new to her.
This is what my finger's up for, so I'll remember, man. How in the world do Nia Jax and Ronda Novice Rousey work the genius spot into their match where Nia Jax, as the 70th person of the evening to go between the ropes and shoulder tackle the frickin' LED board, you have to know where that's going, especially knowing what Ronda's finish is. See, everybody did that all night because heaven forbid Roman Reigns get anywhere near a ring and not either smash into the stairs or the LED board or both. And I love Roman, but god dang, his matches I can't do them anymore. They are so bad. It's literally Rest hold, drive by, LED, stairs,
Superman punch.
spear, over. So
They did the same thing twice with the Singh brother on the
They
outside.
did with the drive by and him push. Oh, it was
It's like-
awful. It's like, my good gracious.
We know you're stupid,
This
but you
is-
make yourself look really dumb when you go for it again.
This is not a house show, especially having to do the spot with the Singh brother. It means you are doing it in the exact same spot as before. Oh, it's terrible. God. And I mean, it's Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal. Being disappointed by Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal reminds me of the time that I bought pizza at Quick Trip and I was disappointed in it. And I'm like, what kind of expectations did you have for a slice of pizza from Quick Trip?
I
But
thought
the
it would
fact
be
remains,
a more fulfilling vomit.
it's very interesting. Quick Trip pizza, I'm like, okay, that's on me. I shouldn't have had expectations. Roman Reigns, Jinder Mahal, it's Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal. You don't expect anything. And yet somehow you can still be let down by how unbelievably boring it is. It was awful.
Yeah.
But anyway, everybody's doing the spot all night, clonking the shoulders, man. Finn did it. Everybody did it. But Ronda and Nia's is the one that made the most sense. And it's great, and they paid it off in the finish of the match. But you got 3 guys on headsets just going back and forth, and oh man, you're so stupid, and I'm Corey Graves, and I'm awesome and cool, and nobody commented on it. It's like, you morons, you absolute, complete and total morons. And yes, Coach is a total moron.
Yeah.
And Michael Cole is absolutely terrible. It was actually 6 people, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But man, I'm like, how in the world can y'all? And don't get me wrong, JR does it every week on New Japan too. It's like, oh, okay, that's what that's gonna come back. He won't say nothing. All he does is complain about, well, that's what happens when you leave your feet. I know why you climb those ropes. It's like, why do you have this job if you hate this so much, man?
Never went for Stone Cold.
Stone Cold. That's how you know those like Stone Cold. Like, man. All right, brother. All right.
Never would happen. I was still working for Watts.
If Watts wouldn't allow Watts, you know, you go to the top rope with the cowboy, you disqualified.
You're fine.
If you fraternize with the heels, that's fine.
You'll be
If
fine.
you get into a bar fight, my God, you better win. And I hate to pick on JR, but god dang, he frustrates the crap out
He
of me.
fired shit at CM Punk.
He'd have punched CM Punk right in his wiener. He'd have said, man, you go to UFC and look that bad, man. He'd have kicked him right in his dong, man. He'd have kicked him right in the chick magnet. It's awful.
Whoopsie daisy.
Whoopsie daisy.
I think I'm getting too tired.
Shoot, man, we're on Bill Watts discussing CM Punk's penis. We've probably gone on too long.
Yeah, I need to go get me some of them Hardy Boy Somers and go to bed.
Getting all summed up. Come over there if I would. I can't say it. I'm trying to not curse, guys. Come over there right now. Whoa, what's the day?
So, man, what did you think of the show?
Yeah, did you guys like the show? What did you think, man? How about somehow, again, I know Braun and Alexa were the little tag team, and I know everybody loves them, but I despise both of those wrestlers so very much. And it's weird because they were in the interesting spot of being in ladder matches with 9,000 other people, and they are quite literally I don't like Miz either. But Miz winning, I thought, could have worked. I thought she could have made that. Now, Miz and Alexa winning the same night might be a problem because you'll confuse the hell out of people. Because, like, wait a second, didn't she just win? Because they're the same character. They're awful. This is the sad thing. Miz and Alexa are the exact same character, and if you're like me and you like Ring of Honor and you watch Cody Rhodes do it, it's like, wow, they're both inferior versions of the same character.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it was disappointing. I don't know why I was disappointed by it, because how could you not expect that jump? But the AJ and Nakamura was fun. They did real good, and I liked it. And I thought that Nakamura's come on and AJ's ultimate dong blow to kind of finish that off was cool. Oh, Asuka and Carmella was terrible, by the way, just so you know. And it's just messed up because
Extra chunky terrible.
I genuinely believe that what's going on with Asuka is it's just Vince over and over again looking at Hunter and being like,
You're not taking over the company yet, son. It's not your company yet. Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, it's not your company yet.
because I mean that's all the dude did for 2 years was build Asuka, and then she comes up and she does the job to Charlotte in a very good match, and then she does the job tonight to dumb stuff. Dumb stuff. But Carmella's another example of just, in my opinion, how bad Alexa Bliss is. Even Carmella has gotten better.
Yeah.
Carmella is trying to get better, and she ain't great by a long stretch. Oh, the other thing about the two of them, though, with all that in-ring shrieking and hollering and being the brat who's the heel and always on the referee. One of them can actually do it. And by shriek, I mean it. I mean, you see the show, you'll see what I'm talking about. But Carmella kills her at that. It's like, y'all, if Lexi's such a sweet pea, make her a baby face already. Everybody wants it any daggum way.
Yeah.
Daggum baby face.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Man, that's what's up.
That is what's up. I hope you guys like the show better than we did.
Y'all be cool.